After his failed attempt to sue the Daily Mail for phone hacking, Prince Harry is about to find out how much it's all going to cost him. The newspaper's legal bill is more than £34 million, and with his move back to the UK to pay for, this could turn out to be an expensive summer for the Duke of Sussex. His wife, at least, has a plan to bring some money in.
This is a return to acting. Now, this is her bread and butter. Whatever this project is obviously something that she's excited enough about.
Also this lunchtime, after our summer of drought, a new El Niño is set to bring a torrential autumn. Nottingham could become the first city in the UK to ban the wearing of balaclavas, and Sir Anthony Hopkins on his career change at 88 years old. The actor is going into music.
I know you'd love to be at Carnegie Hall and perform at that great...
I'm going to do a concert there one day.
Do a concert there one day?
Next year.
You're going to do it?
Yeah.
This is the ITV Lunchtime News with Geraint, Vincent.
Good afternoon. If you've moved house recently, you'll be well aware of what an expensive business it can be. And after finding schools for his children and maybe a new security team, an enormous legal bill is probably the last thing Prince Harry needs. He's about to find out, though, how much he'll have to pay the Daily Mail after losing his privacy case against the newspaper. But while the Duke is emptying his piggy bank, the Duchess of Sussex has generated a new source of income. She's reported to have landed an acting job here in the UK. Well, let's go live to our correspondent, John Ray, who's at the Royal Courts of Justice. John, just remind us first of why the Duke is having to pay these costs.
Yeah, one way or another, it is going to be a costly day for Prince Harry. You will recall, I'm sure, that he was the central claimant in an 11-week case against the publisher of the Daily Mail here, essentially claiming that the newspaper had pried unlawfully into his private life. The Mail always strongly denied that. When the judgment came, it came down decisively on the side of the Mail's publisher. That leaves Harry and 6 other high-profile co-claimants with a big bill to pay. The Mail says its costs are £34 million. Now, today, we will find out what the initial sum will be. The Mail is demanding £10 million. The claimants say we'll give you £8 million for now. But after that, it just gets worse for Harry because we know the insurance will only cover about £16 million of that total bill, which means there are £18 million still to find. And by pretty much anybody's standards, that's a hefty chunk of change.
So what more do you know about Meghan's new job?
Well, in the 6 years since Meghan and Harry left these shores, they have been frequently on our screens, most recently Meghan's Netflix series, but her last proper acting role was in the US drama Suits. She quit that show so she could marry Prince Harry. But today it is being reported and not being denied by the Sussexes that she's lined up for a UK production here. Here's a journalist who broke the story.
Britain's famous for producing really high-quality productions, so it made a lot of sense that that was part of it. We don't know exactly what the project is, but it's clearly significant enough and one that's got her excited enough to be this pushback to a country that I really think most of us didn't expect she'd return to in any sort of permanent capacity.
What we don't know in all this, of course, is what King Charles might make of having a working actor back in the ranks.
John, many thanks. After a summer of heat waves, a warning of worse to come from the Met Office today. An unprecedented weather event is on the way. We can expect the autumn and winter to be dominated by rain and storms, and next summer could be even hotter than this one. Our science correspondent, Martin Stew, is here to explain.
Well, we're talking about El Niño, which is natural, happens every few years, but this one could be really serious. It's all taking place about 6,000 miles away. We need to cast our gaze over to the Pacific. Now, when temperatures there rise by half a degree, that's an El Nino event. If it's 2 degrees, it's a really strong event. We are on track for 3 degrees. And what that can do is flip weather systems on their head. So the areas in red here, places like the Amazon rainforest, southern Africa, Australia, they're more prone to drought and wildfires. The places in blue, like the east of Africa, southern South America, for example, much more prone to drought, to flooding and very heavy rainfall too. And global temperatures are likely to rise. The Met Office says we are on track for the warmest year on record in 2027.
I have never seen a forecast that looks like this. It peaks in November, December, and by that stage, it looks very much like it's going to be a record event, the biggest in recent history, the biggest in living memory, and perhaps even the biggest for over a century.
What's going to be the impact here?
Well, look, the UK is less directly impacted, it's not as extreme, but the Met Office does say the chances of more autumn and early winter storms increase, and that can be a risk. Obviously, we've got this hard-baked, parched ground of seeing flash floods and things like that. There's also the potential, as you head into the second half of winter, that we get a cold snap. It's hard to nail these things down, but we are heading for a pretty unprecedented weather event. OK,
Martin, thank you, I think. In the last week, more than 400 people have made it across the Channel in small boats, but the Home Office says that the authorities in France are getting better at stopping the crossings. It says they've intercepted 61% of attempted crossings since April, including stopping boats at sea using new techniques. Well, Carrie Davis is in Westminster. Is this evidence, Carrie, that the new border security deal between France and the UK is having at least some effect?
Well, Geraint, the Home Office would certainly like us to interpret it that way. We've seen police slashing boats on the beaches before they've entered the water before. But for the first time, we're seeing footage of them actually making a more active, you could say more aggressive interception of boats in the water. It's the first time we're seeing footage of that since the £660 million border security deal was signed back in April. Let's have a look at the footage. You can see the French police racing across the beach in jeeps. They follow migrants into the water as they attempt to launch a dinghy. Men wearing life jackets appear to throw objects at the police to try and keep them away from the boat. Police respond with pepper spray and eventually they slash the inflatable with a knife. Now, these police are part of a new unit of specially trained officers with the powers to make this kind of interception. The Home Office says that French authorities have intercepted 61% of all attempted crossings in the last 3 months since that deal that I mentioned was agreed. That's a 5% increase on last year. But while fewer boats are getting through, smugglers are starting to opt for bigger ones. You may remember, of course, earlier this month that a record 230 people attempted to cross on a so-called mega dinghy. Now, Reform UK has proposed using the Royal Navy to intercept boats and send them back to Belgium or France. France have said that would be a violation of their sovereignty. The Conservatives have called today's announcement a joke. They say the only way to stop the crossings is by having a real deterrent. But small boat arrivals are down 43% year on year, and there are a number of factors. But the Home Office releasing this footage would like you certainly to believe that the deal is paying off.
OK, thank you, Carrie. Next this lunchtime, the first ever National Day for Victims and Survivors of Terrorism. Hundreds of people are attending the inaugural event in central London. The aim is to ensure those affected by terrorism are not forgotten and to raise awareness among the public about helping to prevent terrorist attacks. Well, our reporter Will Tullis is at the event. Will, this is a really important moment for some of the people you've spoken to there.
Yeah, absolutely, Geraint. Some really poignant moments inside the venue as families of victims of terror and survivors of terror attacks met to mark, as you say, the first ever National Day for Victims and Survivors of Terror. This is all about recognition and remembrance for victims and those impacted by all terror attacks, including the 7/7 bombings in London in 2005, the Lockerbie bombing, and of course 9/11 and the Manchester Arena bombings of 2017. People from all of those incidents, families of victims and survivors, are in attendance today, as are emergency service workers who tended to victims on the nights of those events. Well, we spoke to Thelma Stober, who was directly impacted on the 7/7 bombings in London in 2005. Here's what she had to say about this day and how much it means to her.
It's been a very long journey to get to here today. Remembrance, memorialization is all important in building our resilience and hope, but also it's important for all those in authority who can assist us to remember what happened to all of us in various ways, and the importance of providing support, not just in the immediate, but also in the medium and the long term.
Yeah, so while a lot of survivors are saying that today's event is a very welcome step, a lot are also saying that far more needs to be done in terms of compensation and support for victims of terror and survivors. That's no doubt something many of them will be putting directly to the Security Minister, Dan Jarvis, who's in attendance today. After today's event, Geraint, the plan is for this day to be celebrated at a different city, a different location in the UK every year to make sure all victims of terror are recognised and remembered.
OK, Will, many thanks. Nottingham could become the first city in the country to ban balaclavas. Nottinghamshire police said there was no justifiable use for them in the summer months and linked people who wear them with antisocial and criminal behaviour. Face coverings for health or religious beliefs will still be allowed under the plans. Well, our correspondent Rachel Townsend is in Nottingham for us. So how would this work, Rachel?
Well, Geraint, under these proposals, if police suspect that somebody is involved in criminality or antisocial behaviour, the new powers will allow them to demand they remove their face covering or their balaclava. And it comes after a huge consultation with people in Nottingham, over half of whom said that they felt that Nottingham city centre was unsafe due to masked gangs of youths, due to aggressive begging, an increase in shoplifting. And the council leader earlier insisted to us that overwhelmingly the public are in support of this.
So the public were very clear with us that they don't feel safe, they feel intimidated by individuals and gangs in our city centre wearing face coverings such as balaclavas, skeleton masks, and they asked us to take action. And we've consulted on that, and these new powers will give the police the ability to intervene. Let's be blunt, people are wearing these masks to conceal their identity. There's no good reason to be wearing a balaclava in a city centre in the middle of the summer.
Well, if people refuse to remove that balaclava or face covering, they face an on-the-spot fine of £70. Now, police have insisted that their officers will make the distinction between those wearing balaclavas to intimidate and those wearing face coverings for health reasons. Now, these proposals are due to go for further consultation and they could be approved in September, and then the law could come into force by the end of the year.
Thank you, Rachel. A convicted killer has been jailed for life after stabbing his flatmate to death in the UK, just 3 years after he'd finished serving a prison sentence for a similar murder in Romania. 59-year-old Eugeniu Neamțu was found guilty of killing fellow Romanian Jorge Trica in Walthamstow in February. He'd previously spent time in jail for murdering another man in almost identical circumstances 20 years ago. Finally, for over 6 decades, Sir Anthony Hopkins has done it all and won it all. The two-time Oscar winner began his acting career in the theatre, but at 88 years of age, he's having a career change. The Silence of the Lambs star has actually been composing music privately since the early 60s. Now he's going public and he's even got an album out. He spoke exclusively to our arts editor, Nina Nana, in Los Angeles.
What does it mean to you to have a record deal?
Well, it's beyond my belief, really. I mean, I can't understand it at all. Well, that sounds a bit naive, but music has always been a part of my life from a very early age. I didn't know what to do when I left school, so I didn't have a chance of going to music college, so I went to the acting college, which was attached to the music college in Wales.
Morning. Dr. Lecter, my name is Clarice Starling.
Everybody will know Sir Anthony Hopkins, multi-award winner, 2 Oscars. Not many people will know the music side of you, that you have been composing for many decades, and yet you are somebody who, during those school days, you know, was described as a failure and a dunce.
In those days, when I was a kid, you had to achieve something. If you didn't, you were useless. And maybe some secret little key in me said no. Just over that day, my father said, I know what's going to happen to you. I said, one day I'll show you. And I remember the determination that one day I'll show you, both of you.
And it was music you created whilst you were at the Liverpool Playhouse.
The waltz goes on, yes. There was a piano in the green room, and I made this in 1964. And I made this little waltz up, and so I developed it. And then I orchestrated it later. And my wife Stella, who was so powerful and telling me I've got to do these things, and she sent it to Andrea Rio in Maastricht.
Did you know that she'd sent it?
No, he phoned me. Wherever I was, he phoned me. He said, I've got a waltz of yours, your wife sent me. Fully orchestrated.
Are you going to tour the album? Is Sir Anthony Hopkins going to go on tour?
Deep inside there's that little niggling voice called the imposter syndrome. And you think, well, okay. But if they like it, they like it, and if they don't, they don't.
Carnegie Hall, I know you'd love to be at Carnegie Hall and perform at that great...
I'm going to do a concert there one day.
Do a concert there
next
one day?
Next year.
You're going to do it?
Yeah.
Tony, Sir Anthony Hopkins, thank you very much indeed for talking to me.
Thank you,
it's
pleasure.
Lovely to see you.
Pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
That's all from us for now. Charlene is here with the evening news at 6:30. The news where you are is next. From everyone on the Lunchtime team, enjoy your afternoon. Bye-bye.